guys. Okay, I think it's time for me to do another video. I've had this ready to go to make a video for a long time, and I've just been waiting to do more research and sort of make it all perfect and make sure I got everything right. But here's the thing, I don't know what's right, and I don't know what's, I don't know, this is all just speculation because it's history, right? So we are never going to really know. So anyway, I just wanted to make this quick video because I thought I'll just make it right or wrong. I'll make it because if I wait to get it perfect, I may never make this video. So I told you in my last video I was going to make a video about how the Pope claimed all the souls. And I'm going to expand on my timeline. If you haven't watched my timeline video, it's posted before this, and it's called the NWO New World Order timeline video from ancient times until now. So right here I've written down some, I'm trying like a perfect timeline and make myself understand what happened in the elites' legal documents and law world, but there's so much, and it's so complicated it makes a normal person's eyes roll back in their head, especially an artist like me. So all I do is the best I can, and I'm not going to get into all this ancient Assyrians destroying Israel and the Israelites and making their covenant with the one God Yahweh and all that. You can read what I wrote there if you like. You can pause it, and maybe I'll zoom up on that part and you can read what I wrote, because they're just quick notes for myself making the timeline. But I'm going to quickly go down here. The after year 0, something was reset when the story of Jesus comes in and the new covenant is made. So this is all law I'm talking about, right? Like, so a new covenant was made. And so I've got here 33 AD, Jesus preaches, and I'm good. So I'm going to go down this quick timeline for you just to get to my Pope stuff. So Jesus preaches the new covenant to everybody. No one listens. He's trying to tell them, and he's getting all pissed off and overthrowing the money changers and all that, trying to tell them that we don't need any more ritual. It's, he's trying to preach what, what we know him to be preaching. The Jews rebelled against Hadrian and lost. Jewish independence turned the, what does that say? Jerusalem into a pagan city and banned the Jews. Judea and Samaria renamed to Syria and Palestine by Hadrian. Okay, and the reason I want to go, I jump from, there's not a lot of information to find from 132 AD jumping to 1100 AD. So if anyone has any information as to like law stuff that happened between 132 AD and 1100, please let me know. And I'm not sure why I jumped like that, because I couldn't find anything, I guess. But if you know, please let me know in the comments below. So I see a lot in YouTube comments where people say, oh, this fraud and this government has been usurped for a couple hundred years now. And I always say over and over, no, it goes way, way back to at least the 1100s. If you follow the governments and the elites' documents, their treaties and their legal documents that keeps them in power, that gives them the legal authority or lawful whatever authority, you can follow them all back. And so I'm starting here at 1100, okay, and then I'm just going to give you a quick the big names. You can go research them for yourself. So in 1100, that's when the Latin language came in and the corruption started with English. I'm not sure if English was created but right around there, the Latin and the English came into, that's where the deception of the translation of the Greek and Latin and Hebrew and Aramaic came. This was a huge date because they basically pulled a huge trick in all the truth was written in the scriptures right here, but then they came in, the social engineers, attorneys, whoever you want to call them, priests and elders came in, and when they translated it, they created names for everything in Latin and English and bastardized it, and that's where the deception happened. Now everybody is all fucked up because nobody can understand they think Jesus is going to come back riding in a cloud and like slay people with a fiery sword or something. That's not, well, it's my opinion, okay, you can believe what you want, but that's not, the scriptures are written in a poetic, dramatic language. It's a certain way it's written, and it's very, very dramatic, and it's all allegory and parable. It's not really to be taken literally. Okay, so then the next date is 1180. That's when the Gelnhausen Charter was. Now that's basically German, okay? So the Germans, you know, you've heard about Queen Lizard Beast being, that family being German. Well, they are. And their line does go back to here. However, I think that they're claiming to be line of kings, but I think they're acting. I think they're imposters and whatnot. I think somewhere in this deception, these Germans came in here and discovered, hey, we can screw the people with legalese. And they jumped in the seat and said, hey, we've got the divine right of kings through laws and stuff. Because nobody reads the law and legal. Okay, so the next thing, 1200s, the legal system. Now we start having admiralty law. They're basically pirates. Here we have the Knights Templar, the mobs that run like the old Italian mobs and stuff like that. The merchants, that's kind of where that originated, or it's like, I don't know, I've got a big date written there. 1215, we have the Magna Carta. It's very important. Go research that. 1604, we have England loses one of the crowns. Now, I'm going to get into the triple crown of Babylon. That's what this whole point of this video is the Pope and the triple crown of Babylon, okay? And whoever wins at this game of being in power is the one with the army, the wealth, and the religious law, right? The law. So that is the triple crown. So here's 1604, England loses the crown, okay? So they lost the top of the pyramid. They got toppled, you know, they lost the crown. 1776, we all know that date, declared an independent state. That's when America, now if you look up this word independent, it doesn't mean, you know, independent from England. It means in a dependent state. So anyway, it's all word trickery, doublespeak, legalese, but also it's banking language. But so that happened. 1789, we have the Judiciary Act. The courts conduct administrative businesses. If you go look up that's when the courts were all declared, basically, they're not courts of justice. They're courts of business, and all they do is human traffic us through them. They're banks. So courts, the judge sits on the bench, and bench, the word equals bank. And the Judiciary Act tells you right in it, it made the courts of business. That's all it is, not of justice. They don't give a shit about justice. They care about turning you evidencing yourself as a legal fiction so they can turn you into a negotiable instrument because you're an animal to be farmed as stock. Other words known as Goyim. 1853, Mexico Treaty, the Gadsden Purchase. 1933, USA and Canada went bankrupt. I think that's happened a few times, but this is a notable one. And in Article 11 puts Canada as a commissioned state under the USA, but in another part of this, if you read the 1941 Atlantic Charter, it tells you that they pledged the citizens as sureties against the debt, so that they went bankrupt and said, hey, we want to keep operating, to England and the House of Lords, whoever has the bank, right? The main treasury. And then they said, in order for us to keep pirating and keep operating, we're going to pledge the citizens' wealth, because we're the only thing of wealth is our labor and our energy. If you want to understand the energy of our labor, if you want to understand the energy that is farmed and the energy of money and our worth, and that how each of us has an insurance policy, read Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. That will explain how they see our energy and labor as wealth. It's basically the same thing, that we're the only thing of wealth, our labor, that's it. So they pledged all of the citizens as sureties against the debt so that they could keep operating and keep getting money from the main treasury in England, which is the exchequer. The exchequer is the Masonic checkerboard floor you always see with the black and white, black acre and white acres. And if you read the treatise on the dialogue of the exchequer, it explains all of that, how things are banked, and it's all about access to the treasury. So then the 1941 Atlantic Charter is huge, because that's when the British, US, and Canada and all the Commonwealth became in league. And that is like, on paper, that's when everything became the New World Order, one world system kind of came together finally, on paper, basically. Because they've been leading up to it since the Gelnhausen Charter, right? Over all these times, they operate really slowly, but on paper, this is when the New World Order is officially world government, because you can go and find all of these are in league. Okay, that covers a lot of the world: Britain, US, Canada, and all the Commonwealth. That's New Zealand, Australia, everything. And then you can see that the U.S. also has a treaty with Russia. You could go find that on Avalon Law. It has one with North Korea, South Korea, China. It's all Japan. All of the countries have treaties, and they're all listed on Avalon Law website. You can go look it up, and it's all of those countries in the world added up together are New World Government. They just look like they're in different places in the world, but they're all the elites operating in one banking system. It's just one system. We all use the same money. It's all off the US dollar. Okay, so then 1973, we went off the gold standard, and 1975, England loses the second crown of the Commonwealth, and that is returned back to Spain. This I don't understand too much, but if you want to learn more about this, go to ucadia.org, and there's lots of information there as to timelines and viewing scripture in a different way, and it's very, very interesting. Okay. Now we're going to get to the papal bulls here, okay? I'm going to quickly try to explain this. I wrote this out a long time ago. Now I don't even... Okay. 1079, we're going back again to around here. The Roman cult claimed Rome. Okay, so this is when I say Rome in comments and stuff, Rome is the winner of the game, the one at the top of the pyramid, the one who has the triple crown. It's the Game of Thrones. They're the winner. They're the ones in Roman law, there's only one winner, and winner takes all. That's how it works. As far as my understanding, winner takes all. There's only one at the top. That's the pyramid. Hierarchical system. There's one at the top. So in 1079, the Roman cult claimed they're doing all this through legalese and law, right? This is the light that they have. They're the angel cloaked in light, because we think we need to go to lawyers and the people with the law. We think that they're like gods, because whoever makes your law is your god, right? Obviously, if someone's telling you the rules, they own you, or they're your master. So that's what it's talking about when they say they're angels masquerading as that they have the light, because they have the knowledge and the law. So and that's the irony. They're cloaked with the light, but they don't deserve it. So only someone who's sovereign, somebody who's really good, as in, let's say, Jesus Christ, somebody who deserves your trust, can be sovereign and really hold the law and make your law for you, if you really trust, because then you can consent to it. But if they evidence themselves as committing genocide and being psychopaths, and like the current government, who they're idiots and they don't, whatever, they're operating in this criminal system that's totally masquerading as they have the light. They're usurpers, they're imposters, they're bad people pretending to be good. So Roman cult claimed Rome. They claimed the control of the crowns. Gregory the Seventh, prior priests wore fabric like the Mithraic priests. So I think this is talking about the hats. The prior priests, they wore fabric like, this is coming from the Mithraic gods. So it's carried through. You know, everybody's heard about the fish god, the Babylonian fish mitre hats. Well, it's coming from ancient times, and it's coming from Mithraic priests. Okay, so then here we have 1136. The papal bull called Ex Commisso, Pope Innocent II claimed excommunication of the Saxon German, those are the Germans, Pope at Magdeburg. Is that right? Magdeburg? Okay, what is a bull? What is this I wrote here? Origin of the papal bull is 800 BCE. Okay, so what is a bull? It is a dedication to the Dark Lord. Baal means Lord, so it's a dedication to Baal, or a dedication to the Dark Lord, Satan, your adversary, and they worship this in secret. It's written on vellum. It's funny because I'm an artist and sometimes I do art on vellum, but the old vellum, back then, the word comes from vellus, and it means hide, also human skin. So back then it was written on either lamb skin. Some people say it was written on children's skin. So that's up to you. I don't know. I can never prove that, whether they sacrificed children and written it on skin, but a lot of people out there seem to say that these papal bulls have even more magical ability, like to affect the universe in an energy type way, when the words, the magical words of legalese are written on skin that belong to a child. Now, from my studies of the occult, I've been interested in that since I was young, and I've read all about how spells are written in grimoires, and grimoires just means somebody's magic book. So the Masons, I just watched a video on this, the Masons have their little magical languages that they write in and they read from. And so they're called a grimoire. Now, what is this crown the Pope wears? And what is a mitre hat? The crown, this is called the crown of Dagon, or Moloch. Okay? Now, you've heard of that owl statue in the Bohemian Grove that they worship Moloch. This is the crown. It's symbolic of three things, okay? It's the crown of Baal, the crown of the Lord. It means you're the Lord when you're wearing it. It means you're at the top of the pyramid. Whoever writes your law is at the top. You have the crown, right? The crown chakra. The crown is at the top. This is the crown of Baal, which means Lord. It's the crown of the Lord. Tiara is also connected. The triregnum, the Baal back, which means Lord back, whatever. So whoever wears it claims supremacy, and they're basically king of the world. Now, the world means the world that they created, that if somebody buys into that world, there's the real world, right? There's a reality. But they made a world of fiction, their own world of legal fictions. And our whole system is this world. That is the world. It's the world of banking and law and the way that we've made it. If you and I, you the viewer and I and a few other people went off and we completely got out of the system and we created our own world with our own laws and all that, that would be a different world than their world, okay? This world only has force because people believe in it. They're still voting. They're still believing in the fiat money, that a piece of paper is worth $20 or another piece of paper is worth $100. Okay, so and it's in the shape of the pine cone, which is, of course, the pineal gland, which is located between the eyes in the crown chakra. It's the fertility cult of Cybele. Okay, so the triple crown here is symbolic. They speak in symbolic language. So this is the symbolic language you want to be interested in, not necessarily a Justin Bieber video that is showing like 666. That really doesn't really mean anything in the end, in my opinion, because what are you going to do about it? It's just a music video. So what, they're telling you they're evil. We already know that. You want to go look in the real, that is a distraction. Hollywood is a distraction. So are the false flags. You want to be looking into this stuff because this stuff actually matters. This will help you wake up and realize the evil of the system. So the Triple Crown consists of three things: the army, the law, and the bank. So right now, the three city-states of Washington, D.C., Vatican City, and London are the army, right? America has the army, London has the bank, and Vatican City has the ecclesiastical law. So let's go into, it's the Triple Crown of corporations, and this is where corporations are very important, because an incorporated body means a body gathered in the world of fiction. It's like there's your body, which is a real body, but then there's a fiction. A corporation is a fictional body that just exists in the belief of people's heads. It's hard to explain, but once you understand it, you can see. And right now, corporations are the government, and they are ruling the world. It's Monsanto that is the government, basically, and they're evil. The puppets like Barack Obama and all the people in the actual seats, they're all actors. It's the attorneys at the top of the corporations that tell them what to do through their money, through their lobbying. And it's all done through legalese. And then the actors like Barack Obama and Boner and all those people go out in front of the TV, but they're just actors. Just like on the TV news, they're actors. Same with Congress. They're just like actors passing the law. They're just the ones that the corporations tell them what to pass, and they write it down on paper. They're like the scribes, I guess. But they are attorneys too, so they are writing the laws. So they definitely have complicity, of course. Okay, so let's go down this list. 1155. These are the popes that were in power, okay? So 1155, Adrian IV. 1187, Gregory calls for a third crusade. 1198, Innocent III. And then these are not really important. Down here at 1233, Gregory the, what is that, 9th? Creates fear of witchcraft in Germany. Okay, so here's when the stuff starts really getting nasty. Around the 11 to 1200s, we have the 1180 around here, we have the Gelnhausen Charter. Okay, that's where the king said the people are so stupid and their memories are so small, they're going to forget what we can tell them all that we're doing to them because they'll just forget the next day. That's when I believe it was said in that one. So they create the fear of witchcraft. Okay, this is when they come in with all their, anybody telling the truth or doing herbology or healing the body, anything good or to do with like real law or real religion, they come and they burn them. And it's all through court process. It's all attorneys through legal process that do this. It's not necessarily, it's the priests and the lawyers, right? It's all written in the scriptures. Jesus said, woe unto the lawyers and overturn the money changers. And said the priests and elders were the synagogue of Satan. That he's telling you right there who is behind this. It's the bankers, the lawyers, and the priests. So 1235, Gregory authorized pagan friars to preach to pagan nations. 1245, Innocent the Fourth, Pope Innocent the Fourth, Rome claimed primacy. So Rome is this group of, I guess, those that have the crown or claiming it or whatever, claimed primacy over the Eastern churches, the Orthodox Church. 1252, Innocent authorized use of torture. This is showing you Satan is. This is your adversary, right here. 1296, Boniface named James II of Aragon as standard bearer. I don't know. 1296, excommunicated all members of the clergy who refused allegiance to the Holy See. Okay, so you talk about the story of the fallen angels. Hello, fallen angels. Trying to usurp God, which are us, everybody, because we all have a bit of God in us. They want to usurp us, these people, and to rule us, basically, to be over us, to make our laws. So that is usurping God. It's usurping, because you have the say, you have the ultimate say in your own law. As long as you don't hurt anyone, nobody can say otherwise. If you're not hurting anyone, you create your reality. However, these are coming along, these these angels, which just means messenger. They come along and they are usurping everybody, trying to control everything and claim ownership. Okay, so excommunicated all members of the clergy who refused allegiance to the Holy See. The Holy See is the Vatican group, I guess. 1300s, creates the Jubilee years, granting indulgences. That's something to research. Okay, here we go into the really important ones, okay? 1302, Unum Sanctum. This is all by Boniface. This was an evil guy, I guess. This is when they created the first express trusts. These are trusts. Everything, the Sestake V trust is a trust. You have a trust. We all have like insurance policies on us, and what they do is they can collect on them. If we are killed but not directly killed, then they get to collect on it. But the only reason they can do this is because if you buy into the system, so they own you, right? The world, if you want to take part in this world, they, through their legalese structure, they own you through all these words. If you want out of it, you have to realize this and get out of it. Otherwise, they think they can do all this to you. So they created the first express trust in history for the whole planet. Okay, so they created a trust, meaning, oh, they're the ones in power. There's like 3 parts to a trust: the trustee, the grantor, and the beneficiary. That's another video, because that's getting into law. You're going to have to research that yourself, or ask me if you want a video on that, because I barely understand it myself. So that's the first crown, okay? Unum Sanctum. The first right of use of the land, the crown land. That's when the crown land was made. You've heard of the crown land? Okay, so 1307, Clement This is when the arrest of the Knights Templar and confiscation of all their possessions. So Rome came in and took all the bankers' money. 1455, Romanus Pontifex. These are the names of the bulls, okay? Romanus Pontifex, Nicholas V. This is the first testamentary deed and will and the first crown over the land. Okay, so this is where the land is. I guess I wrote it up there, but this is the first crown over the land. So it's they gave themselves the right to own all the land. So that's when they took ownership of all the land. That's actually ours. But unless we speak up and say, yeah, no, then it stands. Like in law, when you make a claim, unless it's rebutted, it stands. Okay, so nobody, apparently, unbelievably, nobody rebutted this stuff. Or they did, and then things changed, but it's beyond this video. Okay, so 1481, the birth certificate bonds. Here's the second crown. The second testamentary deed and will, and the second crown of the people as permanent slaves. This bull made everyone slaves of the Pope, but made them all as animals. And in a way, they are, because they don't know this. So in a way, they're just like innocent sheep being cattled around. Do you know what I mean? They're not... I'm not saying it's good or it's right. I'm just saying, in a way, people don't know this, so they are slaves. Because it seems, even after I tell people about this, they are still willing to just look the other way and just like, oh, well, guess I'm a slave. Or like, you know, I can tell people and they don't want to see it. They'd rather, it's more comfortable to be a slave. So anyway, the Pope claimed everyone was their slaves. Then 1537, the third crown claims all the lost souls are lost to the sea. So this was the coronation or the convocation of Paul II or Paul III. And this was the third testamentary deed and will. It's the third crown. And this one was over the soul. So first they took the land, okay, the farm. First they took the farm, they took the land. And you can go read how the kings now own the land, and then they taxed everyone and took the taxes and everything. Then as time went by, they took all the people. Because they had the land, they said, oh, well, now we get rights to the people on the land. We own all the people because we own everything on top of the land, because we own the land. And nobody rebutted it because they're not awake. They don't know themselves. They're not spiritual God people. They're idiots who want a king and consent to vote for Congress and need a representative. So they aren't capable of governing their own governing their own mind, controlling their own mind and affairs. They're still buying into our system. Haha, we got them. So they took the people. Then the last one was, okay, now we're taking their souls because I'm acting as Pope here. Now all these idiot sheep still are okay with this. They're still not rising up, and they're still okay with us taxing them and killing them and all that. Clearly, they're not God-fearing people, and their souls are absent. They're like zombies. So we own their souls. That's what they did. Okay, and then in 1540, Paul III, then that was the creation of the Jesuit order. I'm not really sure. I know that an army was created, the Jesuit army or whatever, and I'm not really sure how this relates to the Vatican and the Holy See and the Jesuits. It could be a hidden top part, like the Jesuits are, it's a way of them compartmentalizing and hiding their power again. Like, I know that they do that. They branch off and they make a hidden part so that they can rule from the shadows, you know what I mean? So that might be what that's all about. And then in here in 1540, the Sestake Vi Act and then was created. And notice it's an act, right? Because these are just actors. They're just acting until you stand up and say, no. So that's when England held the crown. I don't know. The Sestake Vi Act, there's lots of that on YouTube. Just Google that. There's the spelling. 1550, Julius III, additional powers of the Jesuits. So there's some reason they granted the powers to these Jesuits. I'm not really sure what it is right now, but I'm sure it has to do with Freemasons and the whole thing. Okay, so here in my little notes at the bottom, I've got the 3 crowns, and this is the triple crown of the Illuminati, the game of kings, the Game of Thrones. Sestake Vi Trust is created when a child is born, when you're born, and it deprives you of all beneficial entitlements and rights to on the land at birth. Okay, so that's what these legal documents are doing in their mind. I mean, you and I didn't know about this, so I'm not really sure how they think they can do all this, but I guess they know more than we do, right? They're the enlightened ones. That's why all this knowledge is bad. This knowledge isn't bad, but their knowledge that they have is bad only when used to enslave others. So when you were born, this trust was created, and you basically don't have any rights on land at birth. Also, that's when there's no disputing this, because you were born into debt slavery. We all inherited the national debt, right? Well, that's exactly what that is. The second crown represented by the second Sestake Vi Trust. When you're born, the sale of your birth certificate as a bond to private central banks, to the private central bank, this deprives you of ownership of your flesh and your perpetual slavery as a Roman person. A person is a persona. It's a legal fiction. Remember that. A person is a legal fiction. So that basically makes you a slave. If you're a person, citizen, legal fiction, you're a slave. And as long as you identify to them as that, they think, oh great, another cattle, we get to bank them, and they make shitloads of money off you. That's how this works. Then the third crown, represented by the third crown, when you're baptized, the gift of title of your soul goes to the registrar, the church, without legal title of your own soul. Okay, so when you're baptized, because again, you're giving yourself to another lord, okay? Because you're doing all this ritual crap that was stopped back in 0. Jesus told you, don't do any of this. This is all the ritual shit that they were doing before, because we're still baptizing ourselves to the wrong Lord, the Lord God, the landlord. This is why he's the landlord. This is the Lord God. Lowercase g, not real God. Right? This is the Lord. The Lords in England. So because we're giving ourselves to be baptized to the wrong God, now you're without legal title of your own soul. So you can't stand as a person. You can be a thing that can be banked by the bar, which is the bar, apparently again means Lord, by the bar association. Your cargo, your vessel, you're a vessel, all in admiralty law. So, okay, I think I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made sense to you. If you're interested in another part of this, I can make another video on admiralty law. The one I have coming up is I've just taken a bunch of screen caps of like etymology of words like Baal and Lord and angel meaning messenger, and bishop actually archon. People are all up in arms with the aliens and the archons. Archon means bishop. Who's that? Right? The archons. It all comes back to this and their legal fraud. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great night. Wow, that was 40 minutes. I thought it was going to be like 5 or 10 minutes. But anyway, I'm glad I got to make this video and finish it. So have a great night, guys. Bye.